chill. Give a shake with the shot, it's a new whip. I know that you've been waiting on it. Got a vibe in the hand, ignore it, been mess. Real spill, case closed, good deals. He said you're a vibe. I can't replace in mistakes. I can't replay them. I've been focused on progression in the paper. I know schedules been hectic as a lady. You the ones making magic to McGrady's. With a front office driving for the Lakers. The 70s falling through the 90s. You know that fake love gotta get behind me. Get behind me. Say done. Can't you see the elevation? Oh, sit that cup, let me see how you move that drum. This the type of music made the dudes put up, and this the type of music made the girls get up. Big bucks, tip drip, spin that, big crib, X-Ray, real chill, give a shake with the shot, it's a new whip. I know that you've been waiting on it, got a vibe in your hand, you know it. Case closed, good deals. He said big bucks, sit deal, spin that big wheel. Age real chill, give a shake with the shot of the Lord. She said big bucks, tip drill, spin that big wheel. Age real chill, give a shake with the shot of the Lord.
I'm Vicky Gunvalson.
What up, though, y'all? Man, I was creeping through the streets last night and this came across my desk. Now, some of y'all that know me personally, I don't get personal, and you very seldomly hear me say something about like. But I specifically have a disliking for Charlamagne the God, dog. I can't even call him the God. He does not represent. We ain't even gonna get off into that. We gonna leave my whole personal whatever out of this. And anybody on my channel, you know I ain't with just dissing another heterosexual. Well, he might not be a heterosexual, man. But I don't just walk around dissing niggas. Even if I don't agree or I don't like. I don't do that. Even if they deserve to be dissed. But let's listen to this shit. I don't know who this lady is, but I heard her name before. Tasha K.
There's been a lot of confusion, okay? And we're here to clear it up today.
Clear it up, baby.
We got a word for you on lunch today. And I gotta tell you, this is a landmark case. This is a landmark case, all right?
She got bells and whistles.
All right? Plaintiff Jessica Reed. Now, this is according to Jessica Reed. All right? So
that's the 15-year-old, 22-year-old Charlamagne was fondling or accused of fondling, allegedly.
Larry McKelvey, LL, okay? Who goes by the name publicly called Charlamagne the God, is a radio host and television personality and currently resides in the state of New York. And the defendant, iHeartMedia Inc., is an entity incorporated in the state of Texas and does business in the state of New York, okay? Now, there are a lot of counts here. Let's go over the counts real quick, and then we're going to circle back. I told you I ain't gonna keep y'all here long because it's a lot to go over, but I know we all on our lunch break and I ain't had lunch yet and I'm getting quite grouchy. And I had 22 phone calls this morning.
Come on,
all right,
baby.
From everything, all right? And so listen, here we go. All the counts are as follows, okay? Count 1, sexual assault against Charlamagne the God, all right? Count 2, assault against Charlamagne the God. Count 3, battery against Charlamagne the God. Count 4, defamation against Charlamagne and iHeartMedia. Okay. And count 5, intentional infliction of emotional distress against Charlamagne and both iHeartMedia together. Okay, since iHeartMedia, in my opinion, has decided to lay in bed, okay, with Charlamagne and whoever he decides to take to bed without their consent, all right, they are incorporated in this lawsuit here too. And here's why. Because Charlamagne, see, Jessica, after she was done with her interview, she was done, okay? She was done. She came, she set the record straight, she went back to living her life, okay? Until she was sent an excerpt from a book. Let me drop this down for a second. We got it all here. Just in case y'all are
whose book?
Y'all are wondering, okay?
What
Everything
book?
is here, and I'm gonna upload this so that you guys can take this.
Is you talking about the book that alleged rapist sold my mama? I was offended when I walked in my mama's house and I saw that book. Like, this the wrong black man to be reading, mama. But I ain't hate, I ain't say nothing. I just held that in.
And it will be accepted here on Friday. So I just kind of want y'all to see everything so that y'all know that this is a very, very real thing, okay? And let me tell you something. She was done. She never really wanted to sue him. She just wanted to correct the story that he told on DJ Academic's show. He was the one, meaning Charlamagne, that brought this to the internet and told a lie. It didn't match what was in the police report. It didn't match everything that was said, that was documented, okay, by the South Carolina Police Department. It didn't match anything, okay? And so when she saw that, after seeing, okay, a person that she accused of raping her at the age of 15 on television, on radio, and then he does an interview with DJ Academics telling more lies, okay? She decides to come out with paperwork to back up her story. But instead, guess what? All the bloggers that took the story were bullied by lawyers, okay? I'm the only one right now that told whoever sent cease and desist on the behalf of Charlamagne.
Nah, Kwame Brown was talking about it too.
Story is credible because we went according to paperwork that is filed and that is filed in the state of South Carolina, okay, with your client's name on it. Now we can do that there because everything that we reported was on docket.
Oh, she making sure she don't get sued again. I feel
There's
you,
no
baby.
vengeance here. I ain't got nothing against that man. Don't know that man. Wouldn't know him if I saw him in the streets. However, okay, now she said that she didn't want to sue him. She said that she didn't want no money. But after numerous attempts to iHeartMedia to tell them to stop allowing Charlamagne to promote the books that he's writing and promoting on their show, okay? And he's also used their show sometimes to admit to various, let's just say, alleged crimes that he's done over the years, okay? And he's been allowed to push the books and push intentional distress onto here, Miss Jessica Reed, okay? And somebody has got to answer.
Now, baby's way of talking is not that sexy. I don't know how much I can hold. It's not welcoming of a female tone.
Okay, now let's go through this because the first couple of pages of this lawsuit here.
Get through it, baby.
It's just stating the facts, okay? Everything in this lawsuit is public record, okay? All right? Down there at the sheriff's office, okay? Listen, in South Carolina, the same town that he's taking the crystals to. And y'all gonna be buying his crystal burgers, all right? Yeah, him and his wife. I told you, don't nobody even eat crystals no more. It's cold in there, and the food always come out cold, and it's microwave. It ain't none of my thing. But let's go over these counts, okay? Let's go over, all right?
Hell no.
Because I want y'all to know what she is saying. This is according to her, all right? Now, Charlamagne is sometimes using iHeartMedia's radio platform. I gotta tell you, this is a smart move. This is a smart move.
It is a smart move.
Denies raping Mrs. Reed.
You know why it's a smart move? Because the statute of limitations is up on the rape. I don't know how Bill Cosby can get sued, but he can't. But him attacking her, speaking about her unjustly on the radio and saying things that ain't true, especially with a platform that big. Oh yeah, she gonna be able to get it for that. She gonna be able to get him for that. I mean, to be honest with you, we gonna get into what Juan-o got to say, but yeah, it is a smart move because going after them and him using their platform. Hey, these comments is hilarious. Puffy using, I mean not Puffy, I'm looking at the comments. I guess he might as well be a Puffy. Using their platform to go at old girl, that's kind of, but whatever.
Insulting claims about her. Okay. Now, due to circumstances that are beyond Mrs. Reed's control, she is unable to appear in court, okay, to testify as a result. But Charlamagne took a plea deal for a charge and never served time for raping Mrs. Reed, okay, because she was 15 and she was a minor and her mother spoke for her, okay. So that's just giving her a little backstory, okay. Now, Mrs. Reed has tried to get justice, but to no available, and to make matters worse, everyone that Mrs. Reed has reached out to, including iHeartRadio, ignored her and still allowed Charlamagne to speak on their platform. Every time Miss Reed turns on the radio, hears his voice, sees him on TV, and walks past his books in the stores, she is reminded of what Charlamagne did to her. Justice for black women. Okay.
Extreme emotional distress. And it's the same nigga that say believe all black women. He said that. Believe all women is what he said.
Charlamagne had an interview about the incident where he lied about what happened, called Miss Reed a groupie at 15 years old. A groupie for what? Who was he? Was he famous at the time? Was Charlamagne, was he famous at the time? How do you call a 15-year-old groupie and you are nobody?
How you call a 15-year-old a groupie anyway? Their brain ain't even developed enough.
Said he never met Mrs. Reed, although he's wrote about her in 2 books, spoke about her on the platform, okay, and took a charge in her name.
The lesser charge.
That he absolutely had nothing to do with it and bragged about beating the case, okay? On July 21st, 2013, Charlamagne was speaking to DJ Academics about Mrs. Reed's rape and misstates the circumstances of the rape. And on...
Yo, if you got sex crimes on your record, I ain't fucking with you. I don't give a fuck. If I hear that shit and this niggas I went to high school, I heard shit like that about us, now we grown men, I don't fuck with them. If I used to get money with you or whatever, I find out you been down, I don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? If a woman around me dating you and I find out you got to say, I don't fuck with you. Matter of fact, they may not be fucking with you no more, but that's just me. That's just being a real, I don't fuck with you.
19, Charlamagne was on The Breakfast Club, a weekday morning show on iHeartMedia's platform, and he spoke about Miss Reed being involved in a smear campaign, which is false. Okay, let's keep reading. And Charlamagne's book, Black Privilege, on pages 82 through 85, Charlamagne discusses Mrs. Reed's rape and states that Mrs. Reed willingly went to have sex with his friends. Charlamagne referred to...
That ain't what that nigga said on the academic show.
A person who was doing drugs and willingly went into a dark room to have sex with men on the night that Mrs. Reed was raped. But he said he didn't know her. He said he didn't know her. Okay? But took the contributing to the delinquency of a minor charge. Okay? I ain't taking nothing that don't belong to me. I ain't taking nothing. All right, Charlamagne's description of the event in that book took place was wrong, hurtful, and defaming. I learned that once and for all on June 8, 2001, the night started off great. Lots of drinking, smoking, dancing, and bullshitting, he says. At some point, one of the girls passed out, and when she woke up later that night, she claimed that some of the dudes at the party had sexually assaulted her. He says in his book that he has since profited off of and used iHeartMedia's platform to promote said book, okay? Yeah, apparently, she said Apparently, she had gone in a dark room with some guys to have sex, and when she started to protest, one of them said, "Relax, it's Charlamagne," but he took the charge, okay? Contributed to the delinquency of a minor because her mother wouldn't allow her to get justice. All right, that's not beating the case. Listen, Charlamagne's false statements, some of which were made on iHeart.
Now, she ain't say that right. The girl's mother said, because the girl was 15, she spoke up for her that she didn't want her daughter to go through that, and they lived in a small town, which I've sold dope in a lot of those small towns. It's better to sweep stuff under the rug, so they think, than to keep letting it fester and grow into something else. It's better to cut it like it didn't happen. And that was her mother's look. She had no say in the matter.
Were made with knowledge of falsity and reckless disregard for the truth. Charlamagne has admitted on on iHeart Media's platform in another show that he has raped women in the past. Who gonna roll back all the footage? I ain't got time for that now, but you remember all.
Did he say white women like Charleston, or was it black women? Or was it young? Matter of fact, it wasn't even women. This is a girl we talking about here. He worse than R. Kelly. R. Kelly was getting them at 16, 17. He got them at 15 with the crew. He wasn't even keeping them to himself like old Kels.
Remember smelling the seeds and how he would just drop something in a girl drink. All of this was on iHeartMedia's platform, and then iHeartMedia took it a step further to strike YouTubers that took the clips of him saying that on their platform to get them down. So which means they aided in helping him to clean up, okay, all of the allegations is what it looks like.
She found a good lawyer. A good lawyer. And they've been sitting back watching. She found a damn good lawyer.
Mrs. Reed has also created a petition to fire Charlamagne from iHeartMedia's platform. Nothing has happened, okay? Mrs. Reed suffers reputation and other harm. Mrs. Reed was fit.
Now, time out. Now, this is a little off the subject, right? But a couple of years ago, Kanye did some shit that I ain't agree with. Some stupid shit. Said some shit, whatever. And he did it in a way that was bad. And he said it in a place that was bad. And you know the first person to show up to help him explain himself? Charlamagne. And Charlamagne was all team Kanye when it was beneficial to him. Now, recently, Kanye made some statements and did some more crazy shit, some more Kanye shit. And it has just entered into my brain that Kanye is just this type of guy. But I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, yo, Charlamagne, you made the most off Kanye going crazy and getting reaccepted back into the community. You kind of ushered that in. You did the interview to this, that, or whatever. Why are you speaking about things that he told you in confidence now? Because he got a problem with somebody else. Why are you interjecting yourself? And now I see why. You need that power structure to back you because your bullshit is coming up. Your bullshit coming back. So you gonna throw another nigga under the bus. Man, fuck you. And I don't even get off into getting on other black men like that on this channel, but fuck you, bro. Like, you for sure, you sold my mama that book, you lying ass, alleged rapist, statutory motherfucker.
Years old when this happened, and happened to her June 8, 2001. She is now 37 and is still trying to get her life back, okay? But he keeps writing books. He keeps profiting off of her pain, off the back of a black woman's pain, okay? She has tried to press charges against Charlamagne in 2006, but the person she spoke to at the sheriff's office told her.
Now just dig this here. A woman like that would have been cool with an apology and some acknowledgement. You could have did that and swept all this under the rug. And now I just recently became a father of a daughter. Some shit just ain't cool. It is not cool. And this is one on this motherfucker got 3 daughters, 4 daughters, some shit like that. This got to be a heartless motherfucker. I'll be going back and apologizing to motherfuckers I ain't seen in years just because I had a daughter 2 years ago. But he been a father of girls for 10 plus years. This nigga's horrible. I digress from that. Let's finish listening to what she got to say, and I'm going to get back with you. I already heard all that
limitations is already passed, and there was nothing she could do. She tried again 2 years later in 2008. This is for charges. This is not a lawsuit, okay? Since no one would help her, she decided to start a personal journey of healing to try to put the matter behind her. Due to the rape, Mrs. Reed has been suicidal, been prescribed antidepressants, and, hold on, underwent counseling. From 2015 to 2017, she has gotten into fights and arguments with her family.
It's always money all over.
She feels as though she lost who she was, and there are some days where she cannot get out of bed. You saw how traumatic that interview was. We didn't cut it. That's the raw footage, okay? Listen, Mrs. Reed has suffered from extreme post-traumatic stress disorder and still has dreams and flashbacks about the incident to this day. Ms. Reed also has issues with intimacy as a result of the attack. If you were violated, it, you kind of know how that works, all right? We don't need to rewind that back. All right, her intimacy issues stem from fear, and she subconsciously associates physical intimacy and touch with pain and danger as a result. Mrs. Reed often tenses up during sex and experiences a lot of cramping and burning during intimacy. This is all a defense mechanism that her body does to protect her. As such, it is very difficult to Miss Reed to form romantic relationships. She is currently working through those issues, but she still has a fear of being around men, especially in an intimate setting. Over the past few years, Mrs. Reed has been seeing Charlamagne more and more on TV and radio, such as MTV, VH1, social media, magazines, and books, which adds to her emotional distress as Miss Reed cannot seem to be able to escape from Charlamagne, especially from his books, okay? Listen, Charlamagne making false and misleading statements regarding Mrs. Reed's rape has triggered the same pain and hurt all over again. It is the reason she sought counseling. Mrs. Reed is actively now in therapy as well, and physical therapy from the result, which has been very hard from her. She wants to move on with her life and feels whole again, okay? Count 1, causes of action, sexual assault against Charlamagne. This paper reads, okay? Listen, Mrs. Reed, Charlamagne committed sexual assault against Mrs. Reed when he forcibly raped and groped her on June 8, 2001. Charlamagne intentionally and without her consent attacked Mrs. Reed to satisfy his own sexual desires. He's bragged about that on iHeartMedia's platform, and he's bragged about even doing it to his own wife, who he's going to open a Crystal Burger shop for in South Carolina. You guys are going to support the Crystal Burgers. Listen, Mrs. Reed, intentionally without her consent, attacked Mrs. Reed to satisfy his own sexual desire. Charlamagne's physical contact with Mrs. Reed was offensive and wrongful under all circumstances. Charlamagne continued to attack and rape Mrs. Reed, but she was in no condition to fight back. Even though Mrs. Reed was crying during the attack, Charlamagne continued to rape her. This document states, okay, this lawsuit. All right. Charlamagne's contact was a direct and proximate cause of Mrs. Reed past and future substantial damages, including significant pain and suffering, lasting psychological and harm, loss of dignity, and invasion of privacy, okay? Charlamagne's actions constitute sexual offenses as defined in Article 130 of the New York Penal Law, including but not limited to rape in first degree, rape in third degree, sexual abuse in first degree, sexual abuse in third degree, and sexual misconduct and forcible touching. Count 2 assault. Don't worry, we almost done, okay? But the case ain't almost done, but we almost done here, okay? Listen, at the time and place for said, Charlamagne intentionally, willingly, and maliciously sexually assaulted Miss Reed and behaved in such a manner to cause Mrs. Reed to reasonably believe she was about to be sexually assaulted in a harmful and offensive manner. At no time during the events described in the preceding paragraph, nor at any time prior to thereto, did Mrs. Reed consent to any of Charlamagne's conduct. How could you when the man is on radio bragging about spiking drinks and taking pussy? That's what he said. I'm going to take that pussy. Listen. At no time, hold on. As a direct and proximate result of Charlamagne's conduct and foresight, coupled with his present ability to carry them out, Mrs. Reed felt the imminent apprehension of such contact, and she therefore suffered severe emotional distress and other injuries to her person, okay? Bill Cosby got charged, okay, involving raping women from the 1960s, so why she can't get justice, okay? She's a black woman, okay? But y'all root for them white women, though, with you when it comes to us. We supposed to just go to bed. We supposed to just go lay down. We wake up tomorrow, it's gone. No, sir. And you don't continue to profit off of her pain, okay? Didn't you write a book about that? Passion for Profit, something like that, Chelsea? Yeah, okay. Y'all got to read Chelsea's book. As... I need some water. Hold on for a second. Y'all better be hitting this like button. I don't even want to hear Charlamagne's response. At this point, he need to shut up, okay? I just want to see what iHeartMedia is going to say, okay? I just want to see this because they have literally, when I tell you, impressive. the Star Report. They came after me, okay? We do everything according to book, but they have found ways to get videos struck down and send cease and desist, okay, whether it's coming from Charlamagne's team or hell, even their team, all right, to get content taken down because it makes them all look bad as a whole. And they don't need that kind of heat because they have a lot of money behind this man. Lot of money, okay? Now listen, as a direct, okay, hold on. As a direct, legal, and approximate result of actions of Charlamagne, Mrs. Reed sustained serious and permanent injuries to her person, all to her damage in an amount to be shown according to proof within the jurisdiction of this court. She's not asking for a specific amount, okay? She is requesting a jury trial, and she is going to allow them, okay, according to all his book proceeds and everything that iHeartMedia has probably made and done, she's gonna let the jury figure out the amount. Smart. I gotta tell you, boy, they be trying to underestimate these victims and stuff like that. You know, I don't think he saw this one come. I didn't even see this one coming. I just found out this morning. Swear to God, I had no clue. I didn't. I was just like, when I said, oh, we going live. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay, count 3 battery against Charlamagne, okay? On or about June 8, 2001, Charlamagne intentionally and recklessly did acts which resulted in offensive contact with Mrs. Reed's person, including but not limited to raping Mrs. Reed. Charlamagne did the aforementioned acts with the intent to cause harmful and offensive contact to the body of Mrs. Reed. As a direct and legal approximate result of the actions of Charlamagne, Mrs. Reed sustained serious and permanent injuries to her person, all to her damage in the amount to be shown according. So basically, she's just saying as a direct, legal approximate result of the aforesaid acts against Charlamagne, Mrs. Reed was compelled, okay, to and did employ the services of hospitals, physicians, and surgeons, nurses, and like to care for her and to treat her, and did incur hospital, medical, professional, and incidental expenses. And Mrs. Reed is informed and believes, and upon such information and belief alleges that she will necessarily, by reason of her injuries, incur additional like expenses for an indefinite period of time in the future, all to Mrs. Reed, damaging the sum to be shown according to proof, which means according to everything that she submits on behalf of what she can prove. The jury will take that, okay, after hearing all the testimony and all the evidence, and determine how much she is entitled to. And you can't put a price on pain. Defamation against Charlamagne and iHeartMedia. Oh. Okay, we got 2 more counts, and then we're going to end this video. Y'all can go eat your lunch, because I got to go eat. All right, I got a date. Mrs. Reed, Charlamagne on numerous occasions and often using iHeartMedia's platform made false, misleading, and defamatory claims regarding Mrs. Reed's June 8, 2001 rape on various written, media, and TV formats to their listeners, viewers, and readers. I got my fork, you know I mean business, dog. His statements identified and was of our concerning Mrs. Reed. His statements contain numerous falsehoods about Mrs. Reed, whether on its face or by virtue of clear implication affirmatively intended by Charlamagne, which means he said that. Charlamagne's false statement regarding Mrs. Reed was defamatory per se. Okay, you know I know a lot about defamation. Listen, Charlamagne's false and defamatory statement was published throughout the New York State and around the world on television, in newspapers and magazines, on social media, and elsewhere in print and on the internet. Charlamagne ensured that his false and defamatory statement about Ms. Reed would receive a wide circulation by providing it to the national press. Charlamagne made his false and defamatory statement knowing that it was false or with reckless disregard for the truth or falsity, okay? Charlamagne made his false statement with ill will and spite and with wanton reckless, okay, or willful disregard for his injurious effects on Mrs. Reed and Mrs. Reed rights, okay? If you didn't do it, why do you keep writing about this woman? And you are assuming, if you weren't the one that did it, why are you assuming in a book you know what happened? Okay? Because you can only put 2 and 2 together. You took the charge for reckless disregard. I mean, not reckless disregard. I'm quoting the damn. For endangering a minor. Okay? Your story done changed several times. From academic show to the Breakfast Club into your books. But you claim you didn't know her. Why you gonna admit to something you didn't do, but you keep writing about it? And then you got the nerve to write it about it in your latest book. What is it? The anxiety book. Because now he all on mental health. He writing about mental health all of a sudden. After all them women, there's clips and clips of this man on iHeartMedia's platform of him smelling seats, complimenting women on their physiques and what he would do, bragging about, spiking women's drinks and taking that pussy. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Mrs. Reed is informed and believes and thereon alleges that the actions of defendants of Charlamagne and iHeartMedia were intentional. I kind of believe that too, because as many YouTubers as they went after, to get this story down, and they still continue to leverage deals with him. Because you know why? Black women are not protected. Black women are the last to protect it. Would have been Sally? Would have been Becky? You think he would still be on a platform bragging about rapping said white women? But this is our sister, because we don't protect our own. We see that. Asians protect theirs. The Jews protect theirs. The Caucasians protect theirs. Every community. Islam protect theirs. Christians protect theirs. Where's the protection for black women? Where is it? Where is it? So I'm a black woman. And I'm going to stand beside my sister. Okay? Listen. Because this could have been me. Or my daughter. Or your daughter. Okay? Mrs. Reed is informed and believes and thereon alleges that the actions of the defendants, Charlamagne and iHeartMedia, were intentional, extreme, and outrageous. Mrs. Reed is further informed and believes and thereon alleges that such actions were done with the intent to cause serious emotional distress or with reckless disregard of the probability of causing Ms. Reed serious emotional distress as a direct, legal, and proximate result of the actions of defendants Charlamagne and iHeartMedia. Mrs. Reed suffered severe emotional distress, which has caused Mrs. Reed to sustain severe, serious, permanent injuries to her person, all to her damage, and a sum to be shown according to the proof and within jurisdiction of this court. Okay? And she goes on to say that she did employ the services of hospitals, physicians, surgeons, nurses, and like to care for her, treat her, and did incur hospital, medical, professional, and incidental expenses. Okay? Now, all I'm going to say is right and wrong is wrong. Okay? And this man took a plea deal. He could have went to court. You took a plea deal. You could have went to court. Ain't no way I am going to plead guilty to anything. Now, Charlamagne is a grown man. Was a grown man when this happened. He wasn't famous. So calling her a groupie and he wasn't famous? Just the mere... the audacity. And did you see? Listen, this ain't got nothing to do with this lawsuit. But if you saw how Charlamagne looked before he got the bleaching treatments, who was a groupie to Charlamagne? He was short. It looked like not Donatello, but probably Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who was a groupie over Charlamagne? Who was the groupie? He called a 15-year-old child a groupie. A 15-year-old child cannot, listen, you cannot consent to being a groupie. She can't consent. And listen, it's taking years for this to come. But when she opened the last book, well, she didn't open it. The book was sent to her, I believe, okay? And she got information on him profiting off of her pain, and is still allowed to publicize to the world using their platform to say he didn't do it, but he took a charge for contributing to something regarding her, but he claims he don't know her, but he keeps writing about her. Justice for Jessica Reed. And with that being said, now I gotta go to lunch. Y'all can too. Bye, I'm out. Oh shit, hold on, wait a minute. I'm running the live. I love y'all. Bye.
Oh, Juan-o done took too long. He got business to handle. How y'all doing? Why pause it take that long? Anyway, back to Charlamagne, the lesser charge. Oh, man. All of that shit was whack that you just heard. That whole Tasha K shit, that shit was whack. What a dude been accused of was whack. Being a part of any type of situation like that was whack. And it brings me back to being a young person and in high school, coming out of high school, and being the one with the car. Obviously, that shit was a setup from the gate. Now, I don't know if somebody set him up to use him for his car or for him to be able to be the one to buy the liquor or whoever had the house. But ain't no way in hell a 22-year-old man is hanging with 18, 19-year-old boys and they go pick up a 15-year-old set of girls, two, allegedly, whatever, liquor, drugs, and you drop them off for a party. That's not a party. That's a tip. That's a mission. That's a busto, so to speak. And what is that? Group sex. But obviously she didn't sign up for that. And ain't no way in hell a 15-year-old girl is supposed to be any type of option for a group of men over 18. Like, I don't care if you got a lesser charge, no charge. There's no way you can explain that situation to me and make it sound cool. And I watched the whole world look past this nigga. I watched the whole world accept that story and take it as if it's something that's okay. And it's not. It's not. And then, let's say you did do something like that and you got away with it. For you to be talking about what everybody else doing for a living, talking about how we should be believing, for you to be talking about mental health while you destroy somebody else's mental health is bullshit. I can't rock with that at all. And then the rest of us just sitting around watching this shit like it ain't happening. Come on, bro. Come on. Make it make sense for me, dog. And this is why things is so fucked up, because we don't have no legitimate standard. No legitimate standard. It's all dependent upon your position. Whatever position you in at that time when you get called out for something dictates whether or not everybody else trips on it or not. And that ain't acceptable. That ain't acceptable at all. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, dog, why he switch up on Kanye like that? Why he switch up on Ye? I see why. He switched up on Ye because he need them people that Ye talking about to protect him from losing his. Because let's be clear, iHeartMedia, a big corporation with an insurance plug, all they got to do is settle. But what would settling on a case like that do for him? And the funny part is, this been floating around for years. He could have been apologized to that girl. That show you how careless he is. The father of 4 daughters, or 5, however many girls he got. You can always tell how horrible a man is based on how many girls he produced. Straight up, I guess you have to call him a male. He can't even make a man. And that's why he done been cursed to never produce another male out of them loins. Faggot ass. Excuse my French. I forgot I can't say that. Obviously, in my age group, the F word don't necessarily mean gay. It mean acting as of a bitch. And that's what this guy's doing. He's horrible. And everybody been cool with that shit. But anyway, thanks for rocking with me. I'll fuck with y'all later. I just heard that shit had to share, man. That come on now, man. Boosie on. Come on, man. Ah, shit. Hey. And everybody talking about Gunna snitching. The whole industry. But ain't nobody talking about this nigga, because it's rape to force yourself on a girl. And then it's a whole nother form of rape to fuck with a 15-year-old. Then it's a whole nother form of rape for it to be 5, 6 of you motherfuckers, however many, on 2 girls. What type of loser goes to a party like that with people that's 4 to 5 years and 4 to 7 years younger than them? Cause you 22, it's 18-year-olds and 15-year-olds. What the fuck are you doing there? But I digress. We out. If I did some shit like that, I'd be in jail. But hey, anyway, this Michigan. Maybe they allow that shit in South Carolina. I don't know. We out.